The Agenda with Michael Knight on News Radio 560 KPQ and KPQ.com.
136, 82 degrees outside. Michael Knight, your host, and our very special guest, Corporal Erik Vazquez of the Wenatchee Police Department, and Anna Alvarez, working for the city of Wenatchee. Hey, welcome back.
Thank you.
You guys are here like every week. It's a feature.
I know.
I'm glad you are.
We're famous.
Well, you are famous. There's this thing called National Night Out.
Yes.
That everyone hears about and they talk about, but they don't really know how it started. It started so humbly and so small at a little town in Pennsylvania and then became a feature nationwide. When did the city of Wenatchee start practicing the National Night Out custom?
Well, National Night Out is just the biggest block party of the year, and we started doing it probably 3 to 4 years ago.
How come?
Because we just wanted, to follow the initiative that I think it started in Pennsylvania, and it started as a way to have the community, enhance relationships with the police departments. So it started in a little, community as a block party, a barbecue and kids' activities and all that, and then it started, spreading nationwide.
There was a guy, and I think he was an ex-cop, who started it, I believe, because he said to himself first, the relationship between the police and the city here is too strained. It's not natural. They're adversaries and they don't need to be. I bet if they got together and talked to one another, that they'd see their similarities, not their differences. And that's all there was. He didn't know if anyone was going to come. He didn't know if it was going to work, but he assumed that if the police and the citizens of the same town had a relationship, that it would be a bond.
Yep. And it's also, I think it started because they wanted to prevent crimes. If people in the community and in their neighborhoods are kind of together and talking to themselves, it's a better way to just prevent crime.
Like the neighborhood watch system.
Absolutely.
Well, you're not a cop. You're just watching. You're just vigilant. You know what's going on in your neighborhood. You know that car doesn't belong here. You know these people do belong here. You know these people are here for a party. It's what you know about your own neighborhood if you've lived there for a while.
Exactly.
Like your neighborhood, Corporal Vazquez, you probably notice things in your neighborhood here in Wenatchee. You know what's right and you know what's out of place. Anyone can figure that out.
Yeah, I actually don't live in the city limits of Wenatchee, so...
Well, you live somewhere.
But yeah, I do patrol a lot of the areas and get out and talk with people, and they know exactly what's going on their streets and in their community. And they're the first ones to call us when they believe something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time you took part in National Night Out as an official, as a man of the law, did you say, "Oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go to have a meet and greet and give hot dogs to the kids. That's what a waste of time."
To be honest, I was hesitant. I was.
Who wouldn't be?
Right. It was. You go into things with an unexpected mindset of how people are going to perceive you as the police, and how you're going to interact with the community. And having last year underneath our belts gave us a lot of training and a lot of experience. And this year it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be a greater event than it was last year. I anticipate more people, more involvement, and I'll do better as the coordinator.
Well, it's tough to just walk up to someone and go, "Hi, I'm Erik. Where do you live? What's your name? Why did you come tonight? Why were you curious?" And it's just that type of conversation that this is meant to create. But it's still difficult for people. Sometimes it's difficult to meet people at a party where you know half the people, but you don't know the other half. You don't talk to those people. You don't know who they are. And it's hard to meet new people for some people.
Right, and I think if you take a poll of Wenatchee Valley, I would say 30-40% of the people don't even know who their neighbors are.
No, that's a fact.
And that's unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up when it was safe to go outside and play
So did I.
in the summertime where you're out till 9, 10 o'clock at night.
You know every house on the block.
Right.
And you know the people's names.
Right. Mom would say, "Hey, come home when it's time or when it's dark."
Yeah.
And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
So.
That's the way it used to be in my neighborhood when I was growing up. But the problems that visit the modern world never came to that neighborhood when I was a kid, as it turns out.
Right.
Now perhaps they do on that street. I don't know. But the fact remains, let's say the problems of the outside world do visit us and we want a better or a different relationship with the police. We want to be able, we know that we have to rely on the police. We know that we may have to call the police. We want them on our side because we have a problem in our neighborhood that visits us periodically. And that can happen in any neighborhood.
Right.
In fact, in the better neighborhoods now, the real problem is Airbnb. Because the house down the street turns into a motel for total strangers that come to, Lake Chelan or Wenatchee staying for a vacation and create all sorts of noise and garbage and problems. You guys ever get an Airbnb call?
No?
No?
I'm sure we have, but I'm not familiar with them, yeah.
Well, tell me about the first national night out that you participated in. What was it like for you? Like the first 30 minutes were one way, but the last 30 minutes probably were better.
It was a little overwhelming at the beginning, trying to get everything coordinated. Anna did an outstanding job helping me with it, and all the people that we coordinated. We have monthly meetings with several people throughout the valley that help us to include all our agencies around here, and they do a wonderful job. They do most of the work. And as far as the first 30 minutes of it last year, like I said, it was a little overwhelming trying to get everything set up. But once it got set up, it ran fantastic. We couldn't control the weather; it was pretty hot, and we couldn't control we couldn't control the fires. So hopefully this year we keep our fingers crossed and we have good weather for it. But we took some information that we learned from last year, and we're going to apply it this year, and hopefully it makes it a better event.
So people may say, well, I was going to take the kids, but I don't know if the kids want to talk to a cop. Maybe they never have. Should they bring them anyway? Get a hot dog, wander around, get to know somebody. How do you warm up the ones that are a little hesitant or just a little afraid and shy?
Right. You don't have to come down and meet the police officers. There's several people down there that are within the community that'll be there with booths. You get free prizes. You get to contact other agencies, not just police department. I think the funnest thing that the kids get to do is they get to go through the patrol cars. You get to go through the SWAT vehicles. Douglas County is bringing their bus, I believe, this year, which will be fantastic. And the fire department has brought some people as well. So downtown will be littered with patrol cars, fire department cars from all agencies. And, bring the kids down and they can go through all those vehicles and just actually see what it feels like to be in one of those cars.
Do your colleagues on the police force ask you about it? Are they curious? Like, Eric, what was that all about? I'm sure glad they sent you and not me.
No, we have a really good, we got a strong support for it. A lot of people want to volunteer to go down there because they understand the impact that it creates within the community. They also want to be involved because that's our job. Our job is to be public servants. And if we're not out there contacting the public, what are we actually doing?
That's a good question. There you go. Well, some of the people who may have been more reluctant, did they ever come around and say, this really does achieve our goals. We really do get closer to the people, and our relationship is obviously different than it was before we tried these efforts.
Yeah, we actually saw it with the police community because from last year to this year, we got more people coming. More people wanted to be a part of it, and we got outstanding feedback, which is going to help it become a better event. I don't know as far as the other agencies or programs that were out there. Anna can speak.
What other agencies are involved, Anna?
Well, we don't do it alone. We partnership with, obviously, the City of Wenatchee, the City of East Wenatchee, the State Patrol, Chelan and Douglas County Sheriff's Office, and then organizations like Together for Youth. It's an organization that focuses on drug prevention for kids, and they're there with booths. The PUD came last year, couple radio stations. I mean, it's a huge, huge event. We also have the food donated by Target and water. And it's just, an opportunity for these families to come share a moment. You don't want to talk to a police officer. There's plenty of other activities.
I think you should talk to them. They're always interesting people.
Absolutely.
They have stories to tell.
And I love how kids
They've been places and done things that you haven't done,
Yeah, and
find
kids
out.
Would come and try to approach them and, just kind of wanting to touch them and, talk to them. I thought it was really, really a great opportunity and valuable for these families as well.
Where's it going to be this year, and when's it going to be?
Centennial Park. It's August 7th. It's the second Tuesday of the month of August at 6 to 7:30. And Centennial again.
And besides the people who we expect to be there and the equipment, what else? Sometimes you have food?
Well, we're going to have hot dogs. We're going to have water. We're going to have prizes. Each booth, each organization that comes and has a booth has prizes for people.
Yeah, and Crunch Pack is donating apples, and Douglas County is donating the ice. So we're going to have free stuff for everybody there. And if you're hungry or just want to come and hang out, you get free hot dogs from Target. And that was a hit last year.
Yeah.
Is there a national organization for National Night Out, or does everyone just follow along what the other cities have done?
There is an organization, yes, and you actually kind of reserve your spot and tell them, which city you belong to and what you're doing. So that's their way to track how many people are involved. Year to year, it just goes up by so many. Little communities like Wenatchee doing it is just pretty impressive.
And how many times has Wenatchee done it?
I'm not sure. The first time I did it, I participated as an employee was last year. I think we've done it for 4 or 5 times before, but I'm not sure.
But somebody watched it nationally and said, what, we should do this. All you have to do is sign up and become a part of it.
Yeah, it's great. It really
and that's the part that I find so fascinating.
Yes.
It's volunteer, it's national, and it grew completely on its own.
Yes.
I mean, how many organizations and how many events can say the same thing? It's really almost hard to believe that it happened without some formal national guidance.
Yep. And I love how it strengthens the community spirit. I had this lady last year that came and said, I didn't even know she lived in my neighborhood. And I met her here. It just they keep forming these relationships, and that's what we want between them in the community and with our law enforcement.
You can have a little city like Wenatchee doing it, but also big cities like New York do it, don't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's remarkable that any city and this really is not the future of policing, but it's the future of the relationship between any police force and the community, especially now that the sides are so clearly drawn sometimes based on events and other places. We haven't had so many problems here, but the fact is when you watch that on television, Corporal Erik Vazquez, what do you think? How do you get back that faith, the police in the city and the city and the police, when there's been an incident that divides them?
It's just community outreach, knowing that police officers are people as well. They have families that they need to go home to. They have kids that participate in sports or athletics throughout the community. They go to their schools, and they sit with your kid in class. So they're people too. And unfortunately, we have a job to do. And unfortunately, there's some times that
it's
things
a
happen.
tough job.
Yeah, things happen. And we try to do these community events to let you know that we're not the bad people. We're out there trying to keep your community safe, and we need feedback from you. And we also need help from you as well. If you want things done in your community, let us know. And this is how we do it, by communicating with you at these events. That way you can come up and say, hey, these are the things that I'm seeing in my neighborhood, or these are the things that I'm seeing in my city. Let's try to figure out a problem to fix it.
What, if anyone, without being specific, what has anyone told you that you thought was useful?
Well, the big thing was moving National Night Out down to Centennial Park.
It was in the wrong place.
Yeah, people were scared to go down there because of our homeless population. Our homeless population was taking control of that park, and unfortunately for them, the police decided we're done. We're done with that. The park belongs to the city, and it belongs to the community members of Wenatchee, and you don't belong there anymore. So we did a good job moving them out, and we don't see very many homeless down there at all anymore.
Now, there's a job that you probably didn't train for in school. All you have to do is get all the homeless out of this park so the people can come by and make use of it.
Right. Yeah.
Let me know when you get that done, Corporal, because that's a big job right there.
It is, and I think we're doing a really good job with it. The community's doing a real good job with it because they know that you can't hang out on that stage, and if they see people hanging out on that stage, they'll call us, and we'll go deal with them. So it's great.
Any of your colleagues ever say, I'm sorry, Erik, but I don't think this makes any difference? And you can just say, well, have you ever been to one? No. But at the same time, I just don't think this is where our time and our effort should be spent. I think we'd be better doing something else, ABC or whatever the case may be.
I'm sure someone said that, but they never actually said it to me.
Because they know better.
Yeah, I think they know I tell them the truth, and we can have a good conversation about it.
Well, you had to learn it for yourself, so you're the one that convinced me that it's worthwhile.
Well, I had to convince myself as well. So.
Now you have to come.
Yeah.
Okay. When is it?
It's August 7th. It's the second Tuesday of the month of August, and it's at 6 p.m. until 7:30. It's just an hour and a half. And hopefully there won't be fires this time.
Yeah. No, there won't be. In fact, we have that little one that had a news bulletin about. I don't have it in front of me. Well, we could try to get that news back again. There's a fire somewhere. I don't know where. I just listened to Kevin read that one bulletin. I'll get it in a minute.
Uh-oh.
The long range relationship between cities and their people sometimes is kind of distant. You know, you go down to City Hall because you need a license or you need information or you need to fill out a form. And for some people, maybe it's the first time they've ever been to City Hall. Mm-hmm. So chances are they've never been to the police department. They don't even know where the door is. And is that because we have this standoffish relationship? Ambulance. I can always guess them.
You know, I'm sure there's 1,000 factors why.
It's tradition, right?
Yeah.
We're afraid of them; they're afraid of us.
It could be that. You know, I'm not sure. Like I said, there could be 1,000 reasons. But fortunately, we're doing a really good job breaking down those barriers and getting out there and talking to them. And we're doing a really good job with the Youth Academy that we're promoting and the Citizens Academy that we did last year. We're building those advocates, and we're reaching out to the community and letting them know that, hey, this is who we are. We're trying to be as transparent as possible with the information that we have and let you make those decisions if something comes up.
Tell us about the Youth Academy again, because I know you visited us last week and we talked about it, but just for people to take action on that.
Well, the Youth Academy is a fantastic event that it's the first one that's ever going to be promoted here in the Wenatchee Valley, and it's based upon giving knowledge to high school students about what police officers do. You're incoming sophomore, junior, senior throughout the school districts of the Wenatchee Valley, and you're able to come here and learn what police officers do. You're also going to learn specific things from the SAGE, our sexual assault place here, teen violence, sexual violence, Instagram stalking, things like that.
All the things in the headlines.
Right, all the things in the headlines. Just to better equip you as a youth, when you go out into college or you go out and make decisions on your own, that you still have that knowledge, that base knowledge to help you out the rest of your life.
When you joined the police force, was the Wenatchee your first job?
No, I started at the Chelan County Jail as a corrections officer.
And when you began your career, did you think, well, I don't know if I did the right thing here? Or did you say, I think this is the right job for me. I see a future here.
I loved it coming because I'm a United States Marine as well, so I came right out of the Marine Corps.
I always tell them that you're still a Marine.
Yeah. And went right into the jail. And the only reason I went into the jail is in the Marine Corps, you're so used to having medical. TRICARE,
right,
is they take care of you and your family. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to get in law enforcement was
the benefits.
The benefits. I could care less about the wages. It's you got to take care of me and you got to take care of my family medically. And that's what law enforcement does. They do that for you.
So it turned out to be a good fit straight across.
Yeah, I think so. And
then this extra added thing, which we don't ask of many peace officers, and that is to interact, not forcefully, but on an ongoing basis with the community, sometimes when the community is not quite certain how to take it because they're unfamiliar with it.
Right, and that's one of the hardest things it took me to learn throughout my career, my 16-year career in law enforcement, is how to speak to people and use my words to be able to convey what I want to say, but not do it in that Marine tough way that I was accustomed to, the way I was taught.
Taught by another Marine.
Did, yeah.
I'm sure he did a good job.
Yeah, I always tell people that, they ask you, Eric, how can you allow people to yell at you or, curse at you? And I'm just like, I'm a Marine. I got yelled at by the greatest people in the world. I can take
by the best yellers.
Yeah.
This guy has not got much in the way of gifts. I've heard much better.
Right.
And much closer and louder too,
right.
I'm sure.
Right. So, yeah.
But also experience teaches you how to react when someone's yelling at you. If it's the first time, that's one thing. If it's the 20th time, well, you've seen it and heard it all before. Let them finish, and then we'll get down to business.
Right, and you got to understand that in this job, you got to get the emotions out of it. If you see the incident for what it is, you can process the information faster. if you get emotionally attached to that or emotionally involved in it,
You're going to be there all night.
Yeah, you'll be there all night. So.
That's Corporal Erik Vazquez with the Wenatchee Police Department. We're talking about National Night Out. Also, Ana Alvarez is here from the city of the great city of Wenatchee. And together, those two are putting it together. You're going to have to come back, and we'll talk about this again when we get to the end of July, okay?
We will.
Because August is a long way off, but people can get planning. Or if you really want that hot dog, you can stand in line and wait till then. But that's